Hello and welcome back to Russ Plays Games. My name is Russ, and as you can see, we're sitting in front of my paint station. And today we're going to finish painting up Hadvar from Elder Scrolls Call to Arms. Um, you can hear that I've got my fan going on back here. I have some windows open because I'm actually cleaning my oven because I have some things going on right now at my apartment complex, so forgive me for my audio sounding all fucked up. So today, we're going to come in and we're going to shade Hadvar, and then we're going to do some highlights, and we're going to make him look really cool. And then when we get done, we'll probably go ahead and paint up um, this this figure, just because I've had her sitting around for a while, and some of the other figures I've already picked up and kind of put away, so don't really have any other figures out at the moment. So, let's go ahead. Oh, I just wanted to show you right before I did anything else. So back when Age of Sigmar came out, I bought a box set called Thunder and Blood. I talked about this on this paint tutorial before. This is the choreograph miniature from that set, and you can actually see, compared to Hadvar, just how big he is. Okay, this is one of the chaos monsters, and I tried to paint him up similar to how he was painted up in the actual box set, but my own kind of spin on it. So, like I painted, like up here, I painted some metallics, painted some metallics over on this side. Tried to paint, like these bone horns, and gave him actually what was really cool was if you can kind of see his little corn symbol here on his chest, it's almost bruised. I tried to go for a bruise look to it. So don't know if I achieved it, but anyway, thought it was kind of fun. All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our Seraphim Sepia. Okay, this is our warm neutral tone, and we're going to shade. Think of a good Hadwire line I could use here. I don't really have one. Always sucks when you're having to clean your oven. It goes up to like 500 or 600 degrees. The oven does, and tends to kind of smoke up the place. Once again, I apologize for the audio being messed up. On the skirt thing over here, we just want to make sure that we're getting each little part of the brown. We don't necessarily need to get every single point, if that makes sense. Okay. Again, it doesn't matter if you get a little bit of some paint around in different places. It's not that big of a deal. Just try to keep it as neat as possible. Okay, that's good. Perfect. So you can kind of see. I know it's kind of hard, but you can kind of see that it's a lot lighter. It's a lot darker than it was before, and that's what we're really looking for when we try to find that stuff. That's what we're really looking for. So. Whew, getting pretty damn smoky in here. Alright. Now, for everything else, hang on 1 second. Let me do something real quick. I just want to get that. I don't think I did. Okay. And I want to make sure I get shield. That was my bad. So, just grab that really fast. Sometimes you're just so focused on something else that you just completely forget to do what you were supposed to do. Alrighty. Okay. Now, one other part I missed. Right up this little seam. So we'll grab that really fast. With that part. One second. Stings up the eyes. Hopefully, with that in place, it won't be too bad. Okay. Agarax Earthshade. What we're going to do is, we're going to be very, very careful. We're going to put this all along the metal bits on this miniature. This part is probably one of the hardest parts around the shield here because you have to be very, very careful around the metal bits. this does is it knocks back a lot of the shine. And it gives it a nice, even sort of grimy appearance, and it also puts out a lot more of brings out a lot more of the shadows. I've said that before, but I just want to reiterate. Shades and washes are probably your best friend when you're painting. Now around each of these little metal bits around the skirt, you want to make sure that that you only hit the metal parts, and so you're not going to use a whole ton of shade. And if you did what I did, just take your paper towel and just kind of dab a little bit off, okay, so that all you have on there is just a little bit of shade, and then hit that metal bit. You just want to knock it back a little bit. You don't want it to be so much so that you do it. Now, if you have a little bit too much on there, find a good part and then kind of wipe it off. Okay, and go back and do the metal. And if you need more, you can just pick it up from that and then just hit it. That's it. Shouldn't take too long to get that done. And almost done with the metal bits. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry. I'll see you guys back in less than a second. For me, it's going to be a little bit longer. I'm going to go blow my nose. I'm going to do a couple things, and then when I come back, we will do some highlighting on this guy. We'll make him look just perfect. Okay? When we get done, he's going to look somewhat like this. Right now, he kind of looks a little dull, but that's okay because he's supposed to look a little dull. That's what we're supposed to do. Okay? So, I will see you in less than a second. And we're back. I tried to film, but guys are doing the lawn outside, and so, yeah, it kind of made it difficult, so I couldn't really talk. All right. One important factor to remember when highlighting is you don't want to overdo it. Okay? You just want to make sure that you get parts that are going to look when the light hits them. Cheekbones, brow, a little bit of the chin, maybe the lips. And I don't have like 15 different paints, so I can't sit here and like put certain parts, like I can't go in and like highlight, you know, gradients and all that kind of stuff. So I just have to kind of choose as to which parts I want to highlight. Okay, that's probably good for that one. Alrighty. Okay. Now, this paint might be dead. I don't know. This is an old pot of lead belcher. And this is from 2012, and this is 2023 as of filming this. This is like 11-year-old paint. I mean, so is this pot of lead belcher. I mean, like literally, this pot of lead belcher is from the same year, 2012. Okay, like they're both from the same year, and I've been using this one since forever, but it's starting to die on me. So I'm trying to make sure that I've got another pot of lead belcher, so I don't have to go buy another one. Oh, perfect. Oh, look at that beautiful, beautiful paint. All right, perfect. Okay. So now, what I'm gonna do is highlight, we just want to kind of lighten everything back up just a tiny bit. We don't want to do too much because we don't want to lose a lot of that value that we've made. Okay. And like where you have rivets, like the little bumps along the shield that you can see there, okay? You never, ever, ever want to go up to them. So if there's a bump sticking up, there's shade all around it, okay, that gives it that definition. And if you put paint all the way up to it, you're going to lose that definition because then that paint is going to make it go flat. Okay, it's gonna make it just disappear right. So like right now, okay, we have shade sticking up around that, so you can kind of see that. Like you can tell that my finger, okay, is coming up because it has a little bit of shadow, okay, and it's a little bit different, and that's what we want to keep. If you don't, then what it does is it just disappears like that. Okay, it just disappears down into the thing. So you don't want to do that. Okay, so you want to put a little bit of paint. Like all I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit down the sides. Okay, and then I'm putting a little bit in between, just enough to kind of lighten it up just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a highlight. Okay, and I'm leaving that shade down in the middle. Okay, that's all I'm doing. That's it. Okay, and that's all we want to do, just to kind of make a statement. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back and kind of come back and dry brush. Now, okay, give me for a second. Okay, now for the sword, what we're gonna do is we're gonna run down both sides of the little tiny indentation in the sword. Okay, can you see that little indentation in the sword there in the middle? Okay, what we want to do is we want to run down both sides of that. Okay, so we start on the top. Okay, and then we just carefully run down either side. Okay, that's all we're going to do. So now what that does is that just gives us the little bit of definition of the sword without it ruining the effect of that um, stuff. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to lightly kind of carry that over the hilt, okay, because the hilt has a lot of detail on it. And it's kind of hard to see, but if you look at the box art here, okay, you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a design on the hilt itself, Okay, that's what we're preserving. So we're preserving that hilt. Okay. Okay, and then on the bottom, I think we just want to do that. On the bottom, what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight a little bit of the pommel. Okay, because again, there's a little bit of a design in the pommel, and if we take that pommel, and we turn it, you know what I mean? If we put a whole bunch in it, then we're going to lose that definition. Now, on the front of his greaves and on his little thing back here, okay, there are little designs. And all we're going to do is we are just going to run a small little tiny thing like that, okay? And that's all we're going to do. That's it, okay? We're just going to hit that design, just a tiny little bit of the lead belcher, okay? Now, if you want, you can attempt to put a little bit of lead belcher into like the flat part. Just about like so. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you don't want to do too much because you don't want to destroy the shade, because you can kind of see that the shade is giving us a lot of definition, okay? And if you do too much, guess what you're going to do? You're going to destroy the effect, okay? And we don't want to destroy the effect, we want to keep the effect. That's the whole reason why we put the shade in there. Now, if you screw up and you happen to totally do that, then what I would suggest is repaint the entire greave, okay? Let it dry, shade it, let it dry, and go back and try to do it again, okay? Okay. Now, if you want, you can also, there's a little bit of a raised edge around the greave. You can kind of hit that a little bit with the lead belcher just to make it stand out a tiny bit. But again, don't do too much, okay? Another thing that we can do, I'm going to save that for the next step. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to come up here about in the middle of his back, okay? And we're just going to clean up that portion, just about like so, okay? Just so it gives it a nice, clean shine. But it leaves the grime. So basically what you're doing is, okay, and you can do it a little bit on the front here, okay? There's a tiny, tiny little bit of space where you can do it, okay? But again, we don't want to do too much because we don't want to destroy where that shade was, okay? And what we're going to end up doing, if you want, you can try to hit all these like raised edges, but let me tell you how we're going to do that, okay? This is probably the easiest way to hit all of these little raised details without too much of it. We're going to grab our dry brush, okay? You can use a stiffer bristle brush if you want. I don't know that I have one at the moment. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to take some lead belcher, put it on our paper towel, Okay. This is how we're going to hit all of the details. Okay. While leaving simultaneously all of the shade in those details. You'll see when I show the camera, you'll see where it just pops. Okay? So that's what dry brushing does for us. It hits all of the raised details and it leaves all of the shade. A little bit too much, like I did, in certain parts. We can come back later and get them. Got a little bit too much on there. Here we go. Got a little bit too much on the brush, so when I decided to try to get it, oh, I'll get it here in a minute. Okay. What I'm really doing with this color is I'm just kind of catching certain parts where some of the dry brushing left some silvery bits, and then I'm just kind of like highlighting just a teensy weensy little tiny piece here and there. Okay. Again, we don't want to do too much because we don't want to destroy the illusion. Okay? We really don't. We want to leave that illusion intact if we can. Okay? If you want, go back and we can touch this little piece right in between his chest plate. There's a little clasp that connects the two breastplates together. There's a little strap of leather right there. So if you want to grab that, now's the time to do it. We didn't want to do it before because it was so tiny that if we did it then, we would have destroyed the effect, okay? Because what we would have done is we would have gone over it with both the Seraphim Sepia, because we would have wanted to hit that with that, and then we would have gone over it with Agarax because it was right next to a couple of metal bits. So we would have hit it with Agarax Earthshade because there was no reason for it. So we just left it, hit it with Agarax Earthshade, and now we've gone back and we've actually touched it up with this. Okay, now, what we want to do really fast, okay, just to kind of highlight the fur and his hair, okay, how we're going to do that is we're going to take our dry brush, okay, and now we've highlighted his hair. Does that make sense? Okay, and we're going to do the same thing. There's enough on there still. Maybe. Because there's a little bit of fur, and it's hard to see, but if you can see on the boots, right there, there's just a teensy-weensy bit of fur, okay, right around the top edge of the boots. It's Skyrim, you know, they have that kind of stuff. And so, what we're going to do is, again, we're just going to come in with this color, and we're going to highlight. We're also at least on the front side of the shield, we're going to highlight. I need a little bit more just to kind of build up the effect. Okay. And now, if you want to, you could use something like the Mournfang Brown. Okay, and I don't know what this new one is called, but you can find a similar brown to this in the Citadel range. But this is Mournfang Brown. Okay, and then we're going to take this moccasin, and you can use it to kind of build that layer up a little bit. So, like, you can run a little bit of the Mournfang, and then just very, very lightly pick out some of the details with this color, the moccasin. Okay. But see, all I'm doing is I'm just doing a quick highlight like that. Okay. And then compare that to the inside where it's still kind of darkish. And that's what we want. We want to kind of contrast the inside with the outside. We want the outside to be kind of light and vibrant, but we want the inside to be more, we want that to be more um, there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. That's pretty much all we're going to do in terms of highlighting, because there's really not much that we want to do because we don't want to destroy the effect. Okay? Now, if you want, you can use the darker brown to go back and kind of highlight up some different things. But the Seraphim Sepia is a very, very light brown, so it doesn't destroy some of the effects of those other ones. Okay. So now, what we'll do is you can base yours however you wish. But this isn't going to work. This paint is getting too watery. Okay. Well, that blows. This paint's had it, but we can. Give me 1 second. There's a reason why I bought Holly Branch. Oh, very, very similar to this old Cabalite green. Okay. I'm gonna try something new. My basing technique. A lot of people put certain things up. A lot of people put. I'm gonna try something a little different this time. Mostly because I really haven't done much with it. And I could try to paint the edges, but I don't need the edge black. Give that sucker a try. What about it? Okay. Well, I think we feel that good. What do you think, folks? Think our friend here looks pretty good? No, that's not exactly what Skyrim's terrain looks like, but you know, once I put some flocking on there, he'll look pretty good. So, all right. Well, thank you for watching. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think of this from now. And when we come back, we will paint up this gal. This will be kind of neat because her base has a lot of detail on it. So there's like some pillars and some stones and some different things like that. There's actually like a little skeleton dude kind of trapped in there. You can kind of see his hand right there in his head, like right back up here. And so yeah, it'll be kind of fun to paint her up. She'll be fun to paint because she's got pants, so she doesn't have a whole lot of skin. So it's going to be a lot more fun to paint. All right. Well, again, um, let me know in the comments below what you think of this so far. If you'd like to see me paint um, the other three guys in there in the box set, let me know down in the comments because I'll get to those one of these days. And yeah, I still have a huge pile of shame, so I'm probably going to be doing this for a while just to kind of go through and show all of this stuff off. And as we say, we will see you on the next one.